what they set out to do. So what's the experience in Malawi? What can you share with others here in the room? What has worked? What are some of the remaining challenges?
No, thank you very much, and good morning all. So I come from Malawi. It's a country in South Central Africa, and it's a country that has experienced corrosive effects of corruption for decades. I was appointed as Director General of Anti-Corruption Bureau in 2021, and I was appointed by a government that came on the platform of anti-corruption, a lot of anti-corruption messaging during the campaign. And so realizing that governments in, governments out have spoken about corruption, how they're going to end corruption, and also acknowledging the fact that each and every government has, to an extent, yes, tried to do something, but it failed miserably, especially in the area where, when it's the government that is in power, the expectation is that the Anti-Corruption Bureau or commission or agency should not deal with the corruption that is happening at that time. In other words, you do not attack the hand that feeds you. You know that. And because I knew, I could sense that the Malawian society is pretty fed up with that. What I did in 2021 upon taking on the position was to make sure that we deal with current corruption as we are also dealing with the old corruption. Because I did not want to have the Bureau to be used as a political tool to deal with the political opponents. And so it just so happened that maybe a few weeks into my position, there are a lot of corruption allegations that came, of course, from the UK, but dealing with alleged corruption of the current very senior government officials in the current government. And we really did investigate and even started prosecution of that. It shocked the country. It shocked the country, firstly, because maybe a lot of people did not know the extent or depth of the corruption that we had. But secondly, because it had never happened that the Anti-Corruption Bureau could actually handle corruption of sitting senior members of government. And here we are not talking of small people, we are talking of the sitting vice president of the country, we are talking of the former Inspector General of Police. We are talking of very senior officials in the government at that time. Another thing that really worked at that time was that, as I said, it was just a government that had just come into power and on the platform of anti-corruption messaging. And because of that, there was a space of political will where you can actually do this work. But you also know that that space is usually very small and narrow. It's not there forever, and such that if you do not utilize it at that particular time, it goes very fast. And I think I can safely say that it's no longer there. But the fact is, we did it. And during that time, because we managed also to break down the messaging to the people of Malawi, to the local Malawians, to understand what this corruption is all about, how it's impacting them. At the time when the political will was somehow getting smaller, because the public knew what we are doing, the space of political will was actually filled up by public support. To an extent that even when probably my life was in danger, the Bureau's existence was even in danger, the public was with us. The public knew what was happening. The public knew that we were working for them. And this is probably the very first time that I personally felt very comforted by the public. But going further, what we have also discovered is that, as I said, the space is usually very narrow and very small. Without allies within the government system, probably wouldn't have been able to do what we did. We had allies in the same government system. Despite that, there were others that were pushing back on our work. We had CSOs who were always talking and supporting the Bureau, and me personally, because being the head, it meant that I took the backlash of so many things that come out of doing the work that we do.